All right, we're looking at the euro versus the yen. Um, Put up a 5 period RSI here with uh, 50, 75, and 25 just sliced it into quarters. And using a 5 period RSI just because it's a more dramatic view of RSI. And oh, indicators like RSI, which is probably the cleanest thing out there, get a bad rap because people misuse it. Um, it is overbought and oversold indicator, but I don't know if anybody's uh, aware of Andrew Cardwell, who researched RSI to the depths of it, and he basically that's his tool. So in a tool that's being used properly, you don't want to put a Allen wrench into a hex wrench or something like that and then stripping it out. So, but this is a classic example on the weekly chart of RSI that could get you really killed if you're if you're selling divergences in an uptrend. And just anywhere on this chart, there's a bunch of divergences that failed miserably, and if you were selling into that thinking this divergence is great, what a great divergence, oh my god, the market's going to collapse, you just keep getting annihilated, and it is a divergence, but that would say if it fails, it's really just a detour. Cardwell would say it's a detour. Certainly, the guy that sold the top here made money because he said, look at this divergence. Wow. Of course, he probably sold this divergence here thinking this was even better divergence right here, right, off of this top. So when he sold this, he made that little bit of money, thinking, wow, this would be a classic way to blow up any account or just blow up your mind because you think, my God, really? And even Cardwell would say that this divergence here, oh, there's a little baby one in here, would be a hidden divergence. Actually, that didn't quite become a divergence there, but so after this, basically what he's doing is saying, sure, you get the divergence, but then what? What's the other side of RSI? It's the positive reversal. So when the market gives you a lower RSI but a higher price, anytime you can get that, that is more money than you could even believe you could make. This little dip below that price, I mean that number, and if you're going to compare it to the other low in RSI, which is way back here, that's where that's coming from, that data point. So right at this point right here is your signal or your criteria that's lined up for you to get on this trade, start buying, and certainly in the terms of the market stopping everybody out before it advances, it certainly fits the 100 pip pullback, stop everybody out criteria before it lunges into this just insane, I don't know, what is it, 800 pips, just blast, just clean up. I mean, certainly on the weekly, it's very deceptive, especially in close. It looks like the cleanest move in the world, but I'm sure there was a million scalps in there for all the counter trend traders, which I certainly would have been selling this. Here, of course, maybe it did pull back for a little bit, but I'm sure it was off to the races and ripping your head off. If you were shorting into that, you're probably quite upset. And here's another positive reversal that is the other side of RSI, and you could certainly make the confluence argument here off of this triple top. And these 2 points here are the critical ones because you're more oversold but at a higher price, 100 pips up from that. Well, you can extrapolate these trend lines into the future because they definitely will hold up as major points in the future, and they'll become the turning points, or where the trend lines that if they do break, it's going to be a big deal. So yeah, we're definitely getting all these divergences now, and there's a million signals in here, I'm sure, especially all this choppy action here. But what's going on now is, of course, this is the weekly, and you really are getting like I guess I would say long in the tooth on this up move. Certainly a potential to backfill all the way to this point down here. This key top become a bottom. Not too perfect. You gotta put that little. I mean, it's such a volatile currency pair that 100 pips in this market's nothing. But just don't overcomplicate this game. It's just not that complicated. So it's going to be a real lot of fun trading this up in here because I could see a lot of great buys, and I would certainly be selling if it went into the stratosphere up in here. You really have to think about selling it up there. Especially if you had drew a trajectory off of this this high here. You come off of this, and you're looking for this to climax into the at some point along the way. That would take forever in my mind. I mean, this is the end of the month right now. As soon as this thing starts trading Sunday night, it's going to start painting into this bar here. This is a slice of the month. But yeah, it looks like it's still going up. I mean, I know it's got all these really wonderful arguments that it's overbought. It's got divergence, and it really does. I mean, it is ripe for a pullback. But the problem with this picking a top based on the divergence and all the arguments that you could be making for this thing, it isn't going down, And so if it isn't going down, you need to have the backup plan for going up. I guess the only order I can think of next week would be buying here, and just kind of scalping, I guess. I'm always thinking of scalping just because I'm not a long-term trader. I could not honestly have sold up here and sit on this thing until maybe it comes down in here. Not that it couldn't happen. I just don't think I could wait 5 weeks to get paid. But I'm aware of the definitely the fact that we're coming into this tight range here is certainly a lot better than trying to trade the this psychodrama back here, which I don't know how many people were trading this stuff back here, but all I can think of is how many times I got stopped out of selling the top or selling this just on a short-term basis, looking for a reversal. It was never going to work. Here's a key price. But certainly the looking back on this thing, wow. And if we ever can get to this price and take it out, wow. I mean, what's going to happen? I mean, that's going to be a big deal, because I don't see anything stopping it until, of course, not to say there's not a million trades along the way, but wow, that would be the next target, and that would just be an insane, what a move, huh? But we may have to come back to this, may never get there. There's a triple top here that never, ever couldn't get through. I mean, that may be the all-time barrier, but I would say if that gets broken, just like this slice through here, it seems like, just like this, when the market sliced through here, it took forever for it to reaccumulate and get back to here, and then go down, make new lows. I mean, boy, the euro versus the yen is a psychotic, dramatic currency pair. But right now we're on this little tributary going north here. As many times as you tried to sell in that with RSI, you're probably quite ready to say that RSI doesn't work. But I think you got to just look at the when it starts to, I mean, if you're trading divergences in an uptrend, those counter trend trades are just so short-lived that you got to realize that when the market isn't dying because the momentum, because the it's kind of just drifting. It'd be like wave 4 looks like the end of the market. It looks like it's going to collapse, but it's actually just consolidating for a bigger up move. So, it's drifting up there, and the momentum, I guess, is giving you this this divergence here that looks like a really great place to, like, you're thinking, God, this thing's just got to come. I mean, when's it going to die? At least that's what I'm thinking. Like, how much further can they bid that thing up? But, it's not like a bunch of people conspiring against your position. It's just that, it's just strong. This spike here in RSI. I mean, RSI, of course, 3 is 5 period RSI, but that's quite a number. RSI was probably at 90 something, at 97 on that or something. 97 RSI probably wasn't that high in a 14 period, but yeah, so it's just climbing the wall of worry, as they would say in Dow Jones or stock market babble. But I'd say, like this envelope here, and just kind of waiting for it to pull back a little bit for a buy. Same thing I'm looking at on the euro to the dollar. I mean, all the news, euro's going to hell. I just remember that, I think back here, the euro was going to hell, right? I can imagine the guy that bought here, actually the buy down here, which is the critical top bottom, that really is the mind blower. The same thing showed up on the dollar versus the euro. Actually, this is the ultimate pattern, pivot pattern. Just that one. But yeah, it's like the major notes here, major points. Boy, if you're on, you sold here and you're like, oh, it's gonna come back. It'll come back, right? But yeah, it might come back to here. But like I said, there's weekly charts. Who's trading this stuff on the weekly? Who's waiting for it to come up there and get me out? I've been in this trade for 6 years now.